Good evening. Welcome to this meeting of WSESU Board. This meeting will come to order. This meeting is a hybrid meeting, which means that some or all of the public body is meeting remotely and some are meeting physically in a previously noticed location where the public may attend to observe, listen, and participate contemporaneously. Please note that while we will strive to provide means for those attending remotely to participate in the public comment period, there may be technical difficulties or reasons that otherwise prevent or interrupt remote public participation. Therefore, it is important to note that the open meeting law only ensures the public's right to participate and comment at a public meeting by attending at the designated physical location as posted in the notice and agenda. If a member of the public or the public body has technical difficulties accessing this meeting remotely, please alert us by email. In the event that a technical difficulty cannot be resolved, we may continue the meeting if necessary to time and place certain. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting that are not unanimous will be done by roll call vote in accordance with the law. Okay, that business taken care of. Please note, does anybody have anything they'd like to take out of the consent agenda? Not that it's very long. Okay, great. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of May 14th, 2025.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? The minutes are approved. Thank you. And Mark?
Okay, as you know, we give a pretty full presentation on Monday night, so I don't have a ton more to share. However, I will share that tonight before coming to this meeting, I attended the Canal Street School end of the school year family picnic. And it was, highlight of my week so far. It was really amazing. We had 10 happy children, 10 families all show up for tonight. Harold's cooking hamburgers and hot dogs, and people brought fruit salad to share. It was really a nice way to end the year. As you know, this is a new program for us. And so these are our 10 children and 10 families who've had public free pre-K because of the program. And the hope is next year we'll have closer to 30 and we'll add a cohort, 2 cohorts. But the feedback that I received tonight from parents was just much appreciation. And they just had nothing but good things to say about Lauren, the teacher, and Mary, who served as the principal. So I just want to, again, thank this board because we started this program through the SU, and the support of this board has just been so important to get this off the ground and to get the school in a place where we basically renovated it from head to toe. So I'm just proud of the building, proud of the program, and looking forward to watching it grow for years to come. So that's my report. And then I do have a resignation, unfortunately, and this person who's resigning, who's staying with us, but resigning from her position was actually a really important factor in helping us create the Canal Street program, amongst many other initiatives. But I'm happy for Whitney Line, who's missed being with kids day in and day out. She will be heading to Guilford Central School as a special education teacher. I've shared with Whitney that I've been in this school district for 25 years. I've seen a number of people come and go in the position of special ed coordinator. And in my opinion, Whitney's just about the finest administrator that I've worked with, and has achieved more in 3 years than anyone else that I can see has. So Whitney, just publicly, I just want to thank you for your innovation, your tireless work ethic, your impeccable communication skills. I've learned so much from you over the last 3 years, and I know we'll continue to work together moving forward. But the mark that you left and the standard you set is very noticeable. So, thank you.
I would entertain a motion to approve Whitney's resignation with the deepest regret.
So,
No,
No, I was thinking, is there a way that we could just make a statement of
There's no
serious
motion,
regret?
sorry.
Because it's not okay.
But great joy in your state.
Yeah.
That's true.
what are the kids gonna do?
Okay, so
All right.
Kim, the only discussion I wanna add is Whitney, I said this to you last night, but this board will always wanna hear what you have to say.
Yes.
It's important, and your contributions have been incredibly valuable, and I hope they'll continue to be.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. I felt really supported by this board and have learned, so much through this position, and I'm truly excited to get to go teach kids how to read again. Thank you for considering that.
Can I also add that as a presenter, you are brilliant in terms of working with PowerPoint, allowing it to be on the screen, but talking about the issue. I saw you at the Right to Read presentation a couple years ago, and I felt the energy of the subject matter for you. And so I honor your decision. Obviously, it's a personal decision and a very difficult one. Very difficult. But I also know what it feels like to be in the classroom and work with children and how enriching that is. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I remember just from being on the Brattleboro Town School Board and the presentation you gave to us and just the joy and delight that you had presenting with your students, so I understand why you're going back to the classroom, but we will miss you.
Thank you. I appreciate all that. Means a lot.
So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're not really in favor.
That was
Any
dismal.
any opposed or abstentions? Goodbye and welcome back.
Not going far.
Yeah.
So in terms of new hires, joining Whitney, are special educators Jennifer Gates and Nina Rosen. Those will be 2 new special educators at bands next year.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the new hires, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I can see there is no opposition or abstention, so welcome aboard, new people.
Thank you. Well, that's all I have for us tonight, except I'm really happy to introduce Michaela Sims and some diversity teacher leaders who are here to facilitate and lead a conversation around equity work that we've completed this year and have been working towards for many years. And Michaela has been the leader, has been the visionary, and again, it's just been a great year, and I really attribute that to Michaela's leadership and Shannon's leadership as a coach. But every year I feel like we make strides, and that's due to the leadership that's brought to the table every day. So there's the intro for you, Michaela.
Thank
I'll
you.
turn it over to you.
I don't know, Whitney, unlike Whitney, I don't know what to do with the slides. Right, put them up there, I'm used to like not having to do it.
Yeah, you gotta turn this thing on now.
Okay, we don't really need it, it's just like a fancy backdrop.
I think it's good to see.
But I think, is it okay if I'm a little bit unorthodox? This is a small room, it's family time. Let me get my notes. This is the only thing I do like young people, I keep my notes on my phone. Everything else, I'm an old lady.
Do you want help hooking that up?
Sure, maybe.
I mean, I don't know that I'll be super helpful, but.
You're perfect.
So, we decided not to do like a list of things, like we're always like, this is the things we've done. I think that, I have, one of the testaments to, equity work is not the things you do, but the impact that it has on yourself and on the people around you. So I'm just gonna invite you, you don't have to close your eyes, but you could close your eyes, to just sit and think of a time. Think of a time when someone advocated for you. Think about a time when someone encouraged you to advocate for yourself. A time when someone opened your mind to a new perspective or offered you some new information. So just give you a couple of seconds to think about that. Get a picture of that person in your mind. And for some of us, that's a neighbor or a family member. But deep down inside, I hope it was a teacher. And just think about that, like that person that maybe did that. And I feel like that's so much of the work we do. And that's kind of mostly what our presentation is about today, is about ourselves and about the connections we make to each other as staff and faculty and to families as well, and to the students we work with. And since we have two Ninas here, and since they're here in person, I would love to start with them. And one of the things that I sent out to our teacher leaders was just like asking them, how has being a teacher leader impacted you? As just a way to collect data. I mean, we can sit and talk, but we've had a lot of presentations. We had a Cora teacher storyteller come. Shanna organized a virtual literary festival with all the books from Black Lives Matter School Year Purpose. There's a lot of things we can talk about, but one of the things we want to talk about is like how these things land on people. So I don't know which one of you wants to talk first. Oh.
Oh, you're going up there. Oh.
Yes.
It helps in order to see the visual down the line, since we're all seated in the same room.
Hello everyone, my name is Mina Nabizadeh. I am the art teacher at Guilford, and I wanted to tell you guys how much I love going to school every day, and part of that is that my school place is a place where teachers, there's a really deep sense that we have each other's backs there, and a sense of trust, and I attribute part of that being the teacher leader work between me, Molly, and Hillary. This past year we spent looking at the 13 Black Lives Matter at School principles, and we had really in-depth conversations about the different themes, and part of what was really important to me is I know that doing this kind of work can sometimes feel shameful, or people feel bad about themselves, maybe they're not where they want to be at, and to me it was really important that as a staff that we could talk about these things and know that no matter if we didn't completely agree on stuff, that wasn't the point, but the point was to be able to be vulnerable together and while also learning about the material for the month. And I really enjoy doing this work. I know that it makes a huge difference to do this work at my school, and I'm really excited to keep doing this work and keep building a really good culture in the staff and teachers. And I know that the way that we are all close and trust one another, that the kids can see that and feel that. Yeah. So thank you.
That's great.
Thank you.
I wrote something down, so I'll read that and then talk to like your people. Alright, so as an RBT and step para, I have the privilege and the opportunity to flow all around the school. Students and teachers that I don't work with on a daily basis know me. I make sure to find opportunities to build community and help out when I can. Being a teacher leader has helped me better understand the needs of the students and staff alike. When a community goes through conflict, there's always an opportunity to discuss and learn. Asking questions and growing together is how we build a strong foundation and be able to have a better understanding of the human experience. So my 3rd grade teacher, Lisa Seelan, was my person that came up in mind, and she asked me, you know, I've always been different, and she asked me, well, do you want to confirm or do you want to be Nina? And so that was the day that I decided, like, oh, I'll be Nina. And so community is huge, and part of having community is being able to have hard discussions, and we do better every day, and we expect our kids to do that. And so as adults, we also need to model that. But yeah, Oak Grove is great. We have a strong thing going on over there. I think that's it.
Y'all got cat.
We have cat, yep, we got Rainbow Club. And we're able to, we like set up scenarios in staff meetings and be like, hey, this is a scenario, let's talk about, like, let's unpack what these words mean and how to talk to kids and each other in a way that's respectful and gets the point across. So, yeah.
Thank you. Can I just ask a question, Nina? You started by saying RBT.
Registered Behavioral Technician.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. I love
Thank you, thank you. Okay, great.
All right, so y'all should have this PowerPoint. You do, right? If you don't have to send it to you. Because there's a lot of text in it.
I haven't forwarded it because it looked like we were still working on it throughout the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I will at the end of the day.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay. So, okay.
And
we
it'll
have
be
to-
posted on the website as well.
Okay, so we'll delete the extra one. No, I know, Mark, I was like, Mark's in it, and I was like, where's the slide video? This is some of the stuff we did. And this, last night, the picture, the thumbnail on there, that's the cutest part. Last night, we had our final end of the year aware party. And these are some quotes from students that participate in this student group. Some of these students are alumni, or alumnus, I always forget the gender thing, and plural. And they just talk, that's not they talked a lot about the impact of aware the student group had on their being. I don't know if they'll play. I'm surprised the thumbnails. Let's see if they'll play.
Okay, so one other thing, we got to go on really awesome trips. Oh, which I probably wouldn't have if it weren't for
Yeah,
it gave us opportunities.
we did like professional development for college professors at like different schools across the nation. Like doing stuff that like so many people can't see on our resumes at our age. And
That's
like
happening,
we learned
isn't
a
it?
lot from it.
Yeah.
So
Hey. So there are other short clips in there if you go through, but basically this is a student group that I work with directly, and we go on college trips. That's what that student was referring to. But one of the things that they really talked about is some of the similar things that both Nina and Nina talked about, and that's the connections that they make to other students. And one of them just said that, you know, this is how they came to school, this is how they really make friends, and having different spaces where students are able to connect with each other and have a shared experience has been really important over the years and continues to be important in the work we do.
Okay, so one other thing, we got to go on.
Shannon, you wanna?
Sure. I just wanted to highlight some of the things happening at elementary school. So at Green Street School, there's a Kids of Color mentor group and a Young Activists Association. Both of these groups were created by the students, and they approached me to be the adult to help them put their plan into action. So there are a couple of fifth graders. The videos are like 10 seconds, so we can watch them if you don't mind. The founder of the Kids of Color mentor group, Anaya, Anaya, can you tell us a little bit about how you got the idea to start the Kids of Color Mentor Lunch?
So when I was in second grade, I was in a Kids of Color play group with the 6th graders, and I wanted to do the same thing.
And so Anaya got together with 2 of her 5th grade friends, and they came to me with the idea, and we went and met with the principal, Miss Markaitis, and they pitched it, and we looked at the schedule, and they really took the lead in making this happen. So Nora is another one of the 5th grade mentors. Nora, what has it been like being a 5th grade mentor for the 2nd grade Kids of Color?
It's really fun to be able to have more time with the 2nd graders.
I know that was hard to hear, but Nora's great.
Nora,
At
what
least
has it been
here.
like being a 5th grade mentor?
Yeah, and the Young Activists Association is another, these 5th graders are all about it. They started a group last year, and they hosted a community movie night in town. They got to go to the statewide youth gathering, and they were probably the youngest people there. And Michaela brought students from Ware, and it was a gathering of different social justice clubs from all over the state, and it was amazing. And these 5th graders are sitting in a workshop about Palestine, and all brought their notebooks, and it's great to see things like this happening so young.
What a great experience for them. Yeah, unforgettable.
This is our teacher leaders a few years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Back in time. So we got quotes from teacher leaders as well, the ones that couldn't be here, and they're in this slideshow, so for you to look at later. But some of the things that people said that having Black Lives Matter as school year purpose and doing the Black Lives Matter at School week of action that we've been doing the last 3 or 4 years has really helped people have the necessary tools to talk directly about race and racism in their school environments, and become sounding boards for those issues in their schools. And the students and teachers also have networks of peers to support their own learning. Also that teacher leaders have been challenged to advocate for students and model healthy behaviors and relationships. That they've worked to help people be vulnerable and brave, and I feel like this is some of the things that we heard here today. And that so many of our teacher leaders have become safe resources for faculty and staff. This other very wordy one, these are all the quotes. Really focuses on the idea of centering students without need to compare them to some objective norm, that students are themselves and that they should be seen as such, and that we don't always have to norm their learning, that their learning is enough, and that we don't have to compare them.
On that point,
Yes.
we talk a lot about Dibbles and Star, Panorama. It's kids sitting in front of a screen being tested. This is very different. And for me, this is where real education takes place. It's about centering the individual. And I think about the Student Advisory Committee. After the first year, they had t-shirts which said humans first, students second. I think that's what it said. I can't remember what the t-shirt said that they designed. And this is where kids walk away from this experience, the holistic experience of their education in the district, as grounded young adults. So this is and critical thinkers because of engagement and conversations about difficult subjects. So, and whether they're expressing it in advisory or in an art room or just interaction in whatever class they're in, this is real education.
And if we go back to one of the earlier slides, one of the students, Lucy Corbin, who graduated last year and currently works at the Root Social Justice Center, she was saying, she's like, I wouldn't be here. She's like, I'm not sure where I would be if I wasn't aware, if I hadn't started the engagement. And students finding themselves, and also teachers finding their people, you know, and no one says those words exactly, but you find your people, and that becomes a base, and then it spreads throughout the district. And so the ability that we've had in the last 5 or 6 years to have resources is intangible in order to make this happen. So in order to offer small tokens, because no one does this work because we give them a stipend. They do it because they love it. And I'm lucky enough that we're able to give them stipends. And we just appreciate that all the things that the teacher leaders bring to the table and all the support that administrators have been given to the teacher leaders to allow them to do their jobs and not let them be the fall guys, which is also really important. That's invaluable as well. And that there's not necessarily a trickle down, it's more of coming together of all of our community members, the staff and the students, and alike that come together to really make this happen and make it transformative for kids. And these are things that they will always remember. There was another student a few years ago who's been gone for a while, Trinity. I was sorry. I'm like, what made you join? She was like, I don't know. You just sent me a pass and told me I had to come. So, I mean, for us, that's kind of it. And we're happy to answer any questions if you have questions about specific programming that happens at the school, but for us, it's really about change. And when I was thinking about this and how we've done it over the years, I just think about also the changes that have taken place in me, and how working with students and working with teacher leaders makes me a better person and helps me be more clear about what I think about the world. And so I just appreciate all the interaction and all the people that I'm able to work with, and hopefully we'll have more later.
Lucy Corbin, I was talking with Sheila Linton
Yes.
about Lucy this past weekend.
Yes.
And Sheila is the head of the Root. Everybody knows that, I'm new to all of this. And to watch Lucy grow, and for Lucy to be able to articulate the change that's taken place in her, just in the few years of working with students at the Student Advisory Committee. And it's just absolutely great. And Lucy is now working with young people at the Root, helping them. So it is coming together, but it is also a trickle down. It does radiate out, and it's great.
Thank you. Let me know if you all have questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was great.
Oh,
Thank you.
I'm so glad to hear from you.
Yeah.
I look forward to your presentations, and thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
Kind of keep it short and sweet.
Yes.
Which is the goal.
I go for 10 slides. It's 12
But
Which is
you
an
also
issue.
always provide opportunity for like genuine reflection
Uh-huh.
and meaningful conversation and connection, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will forward on the slideshow later tonight,
Yeah.
and then we'll get posted on the website tomorrow.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Great.
We have now reached public comment on non-agenda items,
Good job.
but I don't see any public. You wanna say anything? You don't have to, but you have a closer step back.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nina, square two.
Okay then, so moving on. Presented for a first reading in new business is the superintendent contract and negotiation. I apologize for there still being read and edits in it, but they are the newest edits.
That helped. I have a question.
Yes.
And I apologize for not being at a policy meeting to talk about this. Now I have to find the correct tab. Okay, it's in here somewhere. My question is, does this policy preclude us from at some point in the future altering a contract in the middle of a contract?
I think contract law prevents us from altering a contract in the middle of a contract.
Okay, let me put it this way. Does this policy preclude us from adding an additional year to a contract like we have done in the past? So if we're in the middle of a 3-year contract and a year goes by, can we add a year?
I think it will preclude us.
I don't know that I like that.
Why, so then, just to follow up the question, why would you want to do that? A 3-year contract, year 1 has gone by, but you want to tack on a year?
You wanna have it continue to be a
Yeah.
3-year contract,
Yeah.
because that way you're giving your administration a long runway in which to affect change. And not having it boil down to the end where I think you can have instability. If you're putting your full faith and trust in your administration and things are moving along fine,
Yes.
why wouldn't you just keep pulling it and saying, we have 3 years? Because that way your administration can say to their entire team, I'm here for 3 years. I'm still here for 3 years. A year went by, I'm still here for 3 years. Versus, I'm down to a year and people can get nervous. That's my reasoning.
So,
Just always having a 3-year.
yes,
When
extended,
it's warranted,
yeah,
I'm not saying this
yeah.
is always gonna happen.
yeah.
But if it's warranted and the board wanted to, why wouldn't we try to lock someone in for 3 years?
So, why, as you're coming to the end of a 3-year term, is the expectation that the contract might not be renewed? That would be evident long before that
I
period.
agree,
Right,
I agree.
right.
I'm going on the optimistic
I
side
appreciate that, but every year there's an evaluation.
Correct,
Good. Every year.
every year.
And that sets something in motion.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that for any other contractual employee, I don't think. You don't
Well, this
do-
is our only contractual
employee.
employee.
Well,
This is all
not-
we got.
Well,
Just a thought, I
Mhm.
don't know if it's a Pietro question, I don't know if people also buy into that,
Mhm. Mhm.
that's my only comment.
Mhm.
That's how we operate with administrators.
You tack
Well,
on
below
a,
me.
you do? You tack on a year?
Yeah.
As you go along?
If you earn it, yes.
Uh-huh,
So
and,
it's not a given, but it's a,
So
if
you
you want
never
it,
have somebody live on a lame duck contract.
uh-huh,
that's the good term.
okay, okay. So I'm thinking about the assumption, every year you sign a contract, right? And your employees sign a contract every year. In effect, by tacking on the year, you're not signing a contract anymore. It's almost like tenure, more so than a class.
It's a sign of a commitment of extending the
trust.
contract.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
and again, I'm not saying this is a
Uh-huh.
given that it will happen every single time, I'm just saying at some point, maybe when we get 2 years into the or I don't know, a year and a half into the contract, and we just wanna be like, you know what? This is a time to solidify things, let's keep stability.
And I also think you necessarily mean there wouldn't be a renegotiation.
I don't think it's the renegotiation of the entire contract, I think it's changing a date, saying this contract now runs 1 extra year.
I'm not,
So I'm looking at negotiation timeline.
Yeah.
Under negotiation, I'm trying to figure this out. Not later than February 1 of a year in which an incumbent superintendent's contract of employment expires. The WSES shall meet to renew or act otherwise. Expires, okay, never mind, forget that one.
and acting otherwise could include by February first, adding another year. Because I do think it's a good idea, but I don't know.
I just wanna make sure this doesn't preclude us doing that if we chose
Well, since we're offering between 1 and 3 year contracts, an extension of the current contract would be offering another contract. Like another 1 year contract, so it doesn't necessarily preclude, you see what I mean?
Okay, yeah, well, I guess it's the legality of the issue.
But, I mean, that was the way we wrote it,
Right,
because
okay.
that's what the 16 DSA 241 says, not to exceed 5 or less than 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can give them another 1 year contract.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be giving another 1 year contract, it would be adding a year onto
That's
the existing
contract.
Existing 3 year.
So that
Or
could
we should
easily be more than 5 years.
No, I don't think
No.
we can do that.
No,
We
no,
still
I
can't do
know,
that.
no, I appreciate that, but I'm wondering, if you're adding a year on, does that mean that the original contract, let's say, which was for 3 years, so after the first year, you add one on, well, you're still under the terms of the original contract, aren't you?
Yes.
So now, it's now a 4-year contract, you add another year on, it's a 5-year contract, you add another one, it's a.
But after 5 years, it sounds like we have to renegotiate by the terms of.
Okay, so in effect, 3-year minimum, 5-year maximum.
Well, we're not agreeing to a 3-year minimum, we're agreeing to a 1
1
year
year
minimum
minimum.
because
That's the state statute.
says.
That's the state
It is
statute.
customary for us to give
3-year,
Yeah.
right.
So I think it's the question of, is it
Uh-huh.
the same contract if a year has gone by and now
Right.
you're adding another year?
It-
I guess what
Mm-hmm.
even, there's
Okay.
that example, but then there's just another example of, let's say we're a year and a half in and we just say, whoa, something's happening in the world and we really wanna completely renegotiate this. Can we open it up? And maybe it's a Pietro question, like
Well,
both of
it might be
those.
a Pietro question, it also might be, the superintendent would have to agree to open it
Okay.
up because he had a contract.
He has a contract, there
He
you
had a
go,
contract.
there you go.
But don't we, isn't there somewhere in here that says we begin the process with 6 months?
Contract
yes,
negotiations shall begin at least 6 months prior to the expiration of the current contract.
Right, right. So,
So if we wanted to open up, it says at least 6 months, if we wanted to open it up 2 years prior, does this allow us to do that?
Well,
Maybe that's
where should I be? Where should I
I just wanna make sure if 10 years from now, we're still under this, and we wanna make a change, somebody isn't going, nope, you can't do that because of this, you have to wait till the end of the contract. I don't wanna have to, I don't want the only opening for us to discuss a contract be 6 months prior to the end of it.
I agree.
That's what makes me go, this seems a little too,
And, yeah, at least
And
6
but
months
if-
doesn't give much
if
time.
Pietro said to us, oh, negotiation timeline B1 allows you to open it up at any time.
Yeah,
Now, I'm
right.
sure there is contract law involved, so if we were to say, hey, we wanna open it up 3 days after you signed it and we wanna change everything, we don't get to do that. Like, it's,
No,
but if we're opening it up with a, we wanna open this up because we wanna do this, and if both parties agree,
Right.
are we okay?
I will run that by Pietro.
So you get the gist of
I
my.
get the gist of it. I don't see why not now that we've hashed it out among ourselves, but I'll just make sure.
And, yeah, negotiation timeline, point number 1, shall begin at least 6 months. Well, who's to determine at least 6 months? That could be 2 years before.
Right, as long as
That's
is.
understood there, right. Okay,
And we could offer another contract under the current, or an extension of the contract, that would count as another contract, I think. So it'd still be, yeah, I think we can do it, but let me check with Pietro.
yes, yes.
Because I agree with
Thank you.
Carrie that it's
Yeah.
a good idea
I
for
think that's-
stability,
Yeah,
both for the employee and for everybody else.
For everybody else.
Agreed.
okay, so that means this is sort of going back to the drawing board to a certain degree.
I think it's a question to
Yes.
Pietro, and if Pietro
Mhm.
says, oh yeah, you can always do that, that's no
Mhm.
problem, and here's why, we can then decide, do we wanna clarify it
Mhm.
in this policy, or
Right.
it might not need to be clarified, it might be
Right.
law.
Okay.
Alright, so you're on Pietro.
Okay.
Better write Pietro in big letters, so I remember. Okay,
So I'm just clarifying, Mark, with your directors, and you can add time to it, another year to the contract. Time frame.
Per evaluation, yeah.
Uh-huh. And can you add more than a year, or are you just adding a year? Just wondering.
Our process is we add a year.
You add a
So
year.
you're never a lame duck unless
You
that's
are
where you
a
end up.
Right, okay, okay. So so then the understanding for the recipient of this review is if you're not automatically adding a year and you're telling them that, then they know that they're a lame duck.
You see the end in sight.
You see the end in sight. And that would be tied to elements of the observation, points that need to be improved, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the supervision evaluation
Yeah,
process.
right, okay. And does this this refers to directors, principals? Does it refer to teachers?
Teachers are bound to the CB collective bargaining
Right,
agreement
okay.
that we negotiated this year.
Got it, okay. Mm-hmm.
But the same thing with the teacher contract, the CBA, we want to do that sooner than later so that there's messaging and that there's, the system knows it's stable.
Yes, and then the nature of the evaluation of a teacher is such that you know what's going on. Right, you know that if there's work to be done, it might be follow-up shortly before the contract period, and that sends a message as well.
Yeah, the teachers are on a supervision evaluation. Goes with their contract.
Right,
For
yes.
sure, individually.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
I definitely agree with you, Carrie. This is worth considering.
Mhm.
And find out about the legality of it.
Yeah, I see the point, and the stability of the district. Yes, especially for a district that has not had stability. Got it.
You're starting to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Keep it around.
Absolutely. Mhm. Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Did everyone get a chance to look at the VSBA resolution? This is the one that Tim proposed, but the deadline for submission is very soon. I cannot remember.
It's June 15,
Okay, so we meet and they do not.
and there's a particular form that they have where you have to plug in the whereases. Right. You
I'll
know
get
that.
it.
Got it. Thank you. Mhm. So, are we entertaining a motion?
I would entertain a motion.
I move that the WSESU adopt the VSBA resolution as presented.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, I will send this along to be considered at the VSBA annual meeting.
Did anything happen in Montpelier today?
The committee of conference met today. The House is back to the 4,000 to 8,000 student districts, and has eliminated a lot of the flexibility language that would say like really remote schools. The Senate has a counter proposal, but well,
Okay.
not
They-
everyone hopeful.
I'm very in the loop. So they had a lot of recesses today. They're starting back up tomorrow at 10 a.m. and they've just kind of been going through one line at a time. It's like pretty painful and hard to understand, but they are planning to have something and vote on the 16th.
Something is the problem.
But just from the conversation, it's like no one has answers to question. There's so much hypothetical. It's like so not ready to go
Again, we are,
at all.
they're making decisions in the absence of evidence, which is hardly the first time.
Before we move on from the VSBA, on the SD side of the house, a letter was sent to the VSBA regarding, on the same tone as the VSBA resolution,
Yes.
which was done also, the same resolution by the SD. And we did receive a response from the president of the VSBA, Flor Diaz-Smith. And I do know that it's the SU that makes a determination about the contract with the VSBA. And it might be something that we want to put on a future agenda to discuss that response. It certainly needs to be discussed at the SD level, but we're struggling for a meeting right now. It won't be until July that we can address that. But it might be something that we want to put on a future agenda.
I was planning on it, and in the meantime, if you all don't think I'm stepping too far out of line, I would suggest that we instruct Frank not to pay that bill until we've had our meeting.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay,
I don't
good.
think we have dues till September.
I don't know when they get paid.
Oh,
That's
okay,
why I was making sure.
Gotcha, okay,
Okay.
yeah.
I
From
thought
what I
it's-
remember, it's in the fall. think
Yeah.
I feel like it's
October
in the
timeframe.
fall,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good, good.
I-
So we don't even have to issue the instructions because I just didn't. the
Well, I
fiscal
think,
years are
I think
over.
the instruction is appropriate if we're not meeting in July. And I don't know whether we are or not. And then we've got August, startup of school, and these things can sort of slip under the radar and suddenly the bill is
I
paid.
think as long as Frank knows the board wants to see the contract.
And
I mean,
we need to discuss it.
Yeah, the board wants to approve
I
a.
think we always do that though.
Yeah.
I think it always comes to a meeting. I don't think it just
Well,
gets.
yeah.
It's a board decision.
It's a
Yeah,
board
yeah,
decision.
yeah, okay,
I feel like
yeah.
that's on
Okay,
us.
I just want to make sure that
Yeah,
it
yeah.
really is
No.
on hold.
Yeah.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
wanted to stop the check going out until we made a decision, and we were running up on July 1st. and
That's right.
All bets are off on
What
July
happened
1st.
in May? Where did it go?
I think it fell off into the Atlantic. Pushed it straight across New Hampshire and off of the beach. Okay. Still under new business, we all got the sad and joyful news about Whitney today, and I got a request earlier from Tate for a board representative to a hiring committee, which is meeting tomorrow. So, also tomorrow and Friday. I have tentatively agreed to do this.
Thank you.
I just-
Thank you.
I can agree without board approval, if one of you wanted to sit, I
I
to do it.
move that Ann serve as our rep on the special ed hiring committee.
Second.
Yay!
Is there any discussion? I didn't think there would be. All those in favor, please
Aye.
signify by saying aye. See you
There we
tomorrow,
go.
Kate.
Thank you very much.
Brian is not here, but I know he would say aye.
Well, especially since he can't be here tomorrow. That's right. He's driving to wherever it is he's going right this moment. Okay, so hiring committee taken care of. Moving on with old business, under policy, presented for a second reading. D1 hiring, F16 headlights, student athletics clubs, WSE, the F28 student athletics clubs and activities. If anyone has any edits, comments, take them back to the policy committee because we're just doing it all together and it makes everything easier. The following policies are presented for adoption. F1, student conduct and discipline. F21, policy on restraint and seclusion. And F29, English learners. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of adopting these three policies, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Policies now stand.
Can I just ask regarding F29, English learners, is that what it's Is it,
It's multilingual learners, I think this
that's
is,
what I thought it was.
It is,
Yeah.
it is
Yes,
titled
please.
multilingual.
Multilingual
Lingual
learners,
yeah, it
yes.
looks like Bethany made a couple of like
Yep,
shortcut
yep, yep,
names, but they come out right when you click on them,
good.
so. And the only thing I have in other business would be July,
Mhm.
our meeting.
No.
Jerry says no, Deborah says, I don't know.
Well, Deborah says the SD voted to meet.
And Vernon voted not to. You know that pesky Vernon.
Okay, is there anything pressing on the SU side of the house that would necessitate our meeting?
I don't have anything on coming that I know about coming down the pike. I mean, obviously, if something explodes,
Then
you
we
can
then
call
we
me and
meet.
we can meet.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Okay,
yeah,
terrific.
so we're not meeting,
We are not meeting in July.
okay.
Ooh. Is there any other business?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Time.
There being no further business before this board, I move we adjourn.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? And we are adjourned at 5:56. Thank you so much, everyone.